What a game this was by Magnus.
Brilliance from the world number one in this clash of two former world champions. And wow, huge victory there for the Alpine Pipers.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can see Magnus very satisfied with that. And meanwhile, on board of the board, but the White King has entered the struggle.
The White King is a very active piece right now. Magnus looks like he's playing with three pieces: Rook, Bishop, and King. Black only playing with two. And Magnus regains the pawn, so level material now for the first time in a long time. But Vishy gets active. Grandmaster strategy in action.
Beautiful play there by Anand. He is now actually neutralizing whatever edge that Magnus had with his active rook. And perhaps White is no longer better, David.
Yeah, White is no longer better. The question is, can White hold the balance here? Wow. Black's rook is so strong. Magnus looks a bit deflated. He was about to reach out there. Indecision. He took his hand back and he's going to have to go passive with the White rook. The White bishop almost trapped. The White rook will be tied down defending. And yes, White has an active king. I don't think it's going to be enough. There we go. He defends that bishop.
Yeah, I mean, Magnus's king wants to get in from here, but I believe Vishy's king is just in time to stop it.
That's right. The Black King will step across and shoulder block the White King if it aims to continue its journey forward. And White's other pieces are really passive right now. So this 50-50, there we go. Vishy makes a great move, as you called, Saga. He's defending this like a real champion.
Yeah, he's doing a great job, especially after not so great games that he's played here. This is showing some great character here, fighting against Magnus. And now, okay, Magnus's king still very active, and it would sit so nicely on this square here, David. And if Black King tries to prevent it, you give a check and then get in.
Yeah, you get in by force. And players at home, viewers at home might be wondering, why are the kings dancing around so much? Are you not going to get checkmated? The answer is no. Black simply doesn't have enough pieces to trap this White King. So very kind of ingenious endgame play here by both sides, dancing around with their kings. Level chances, but maybe Anand still needs to show 2 or 3 more moves of accuracy in order to hold.
This is actually a very exciting position here, because although the win probability shows 50% each, one mistake and it can really head in someone's direction. I mean, anyone can go wrong here, but I do feel with this active White King, Magnus still is pressing here.
That's right, and Magnus also known for this type of position. We call it grinding, where in an endgame it's level, but you keep putting the pressure on and eventually the opponent cracks. And yeah, it's not going to be easy for Anand as well, 3 minutes down as you mentioned. So we will see whether Magnus can turn the screw.
Okay, and right now Magnus has a choice between moving his king in or moving his bishop. You can see this move, David. It not only activates the bishop, attacks the pawn, but also defends his own pawn. So very multi-purpose move there.
Yeah, we talked about White's pieces being asleep. Suddenly that bishop has woken up, and Anand provoking White to step forward with the pawn. He's also just given Magnus 2 free moves. Magnus pushed that pawn forward and has released his bishop. This very surprising stuff. I'm surprised the Black King actually went back in that direction, not keeping an eye on the queenside pawns, the pawns on the left there.
Yeah, the king on this square is far away from the action, and once again Magnus taking his time, and rightly so. Making in, he's kept his rook and bishop a little bit passive, but his king is doing the hard job there, getting into the black camp.
That's right. It's 3 minutes against 3 minutes, so level clock here. But the position far from level anymore. All about the White King, the most valuable piece, just not hiding anymore. It's entered. The question is how to break through. White's pieces at some point will need to uncoil themselves. He steps forward. He's maybe trying to go for checkmate. The Black King doesn't have too many squares here, Saga.
Oh my God. You know, the way in which Magnus plays the endgame makes me just realize that this is art. You know, the way in which he pushed his pawns, taking away these squares, the king here taking away another square. Now maybe the rook swinging, can't go here, but I want to reach there somehow.
That's right. If White could land a check, the Black King is really struggling, but Magnus brings his bishop in. This is a sacrifice. He's giving up his corner pawn there. The Black rook offside though, and Magnus is creating a passed pawn.
What is happening here, David? If you take the pawn, why did Magnus do this?
He's giving up another pawn. He's actually going to be down by 2 right now as Anand there indecision. He captures a second pawn. The white rook, however, is going to enter the action. It's 3 versus 2.
Here. And what Magnus is essentially saying is that my quality of pawns is much better than your quantity of pawns.
Exactly, and right now the black rook is not participating in this game. The black rook is stuck on a really ugly square. It needs at least 2 or 3 moves to rejoin the action, but in the process of those 2 or 3 moves, the net is closing around the black king, and white's e-pawn might well cost the black bishop its life.
Right, and if Anand can just get this, like sacrifice the bishop for this pawn, use his rook to capture the final pawn, that's exactly what he wants. But I guess Magnus is not going to allow that to happen.
That's right. Magnus doesn't want to cash in on his powerful pawn too early. There we go. Rook takes pawn. Check, first of all. 3 attackers, the white king, bishop and rook, gathering around the black king. I don't think Magnus will push, as you say, Saga. He might only push the white pawn forward if he can guarantee he's going to checkmate that black king in the process.
Exactly. This move would be a big mistake because then Vishy gives up his bishop and then takes this, and this is a draw. So clearly Magnus has to find a way to make progress here without pushing the pawn.
Yeah, and the path to victory might well be narrow. It's now 2 minutes 25 against just over 2 minutes for Anand. White might need to give a check with his rook, but watch out. He will push his pawn only at the perfect moment. We see hesitation from Magnus. He's trying to calculate, look into the future as deeply as possible. Like you said, Saga, rook and bishop versus rook, if all the pawns disappear, is a draw. So he wants more. He wants much more than that.
Yeah, he plays his rook here, gives a check. The king moves to the side. Magnus is actually not seen the win yet. He's moving his king. David, is he trying to checkmate the black king?
I think so. The black king lacking defenders. This is genius from Magnus Carlsen. Look at the win probability shoot up.
Oh my god. What's happening exactly? Is there a mate?
I think there might be. Anand has played very natural moves, but how to defend now? The black rook, let's assume it slides across and takes a pawn. White is going to give a check with his rook. This is going to happen. Oh,
he doesn't take the pawn. He just goes one step to the side. A check did happen as you predicted, David. King goes to the side, and where's the mate? Because if you enter with your king here, here, there's a rook that wants to give you a check.
And only now does he push his pawn, Magnus. The black bishop will have to sacrifice itself to remove white's pawn, that potential future queen.
But wasn't that what Vishy wanted to do?
But the black king, I think, is trapped in the corner. It's going to be checkmate.
He wants to checkmate him. Beautiful. The pawns no longer matter. It's these 3 pieces coming together to checkmate.
Yeah, the dream team. All of white's pieces focused in on the black king. The black king lonely in the corner. Wow, we actually see that this position is declared by the computer to be a forced checkmate within 11 moves.
This is unbelievable, David. It's for a reason that Magnus is called the Mozart of chess, you know, the artist. And he's just done that today.
Exactly, conducting his pieces in perfect harmony here, Magnus Carlsen, conducting them towards the black king. And endgame magician, we call him a virtuoso here, Magnus Carlsen on the brink of victory. Anand, he's trying to push his own pawn, but he's just too slow. And white is just putting those finishing touches on a bishop check. We're going to see that bishop retreat next move. And its checkmate is forced.
Oh, it's a checkmate with the king moving. I think Anand will let Magnus mate. No, he resigns. What a game this was by Magnus.
Brilliance from the world #1 in this clash of 2 former world champions. And wow, huge, huge victory there for the Alpine Pipers.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can see Magnus very satisfied with that. And meanwhile, on board